So the good thing about this business is that you run into a lot of young entrepreneurs. In our travels, we have ran into a lot of young people who are out there really doing incredible, interesting stuff. I definitely believe that this generation is enabled more so than any other as far as starting our own initiatives and businesses and things like that. 100 years ago, if you came from a family of farmers, you were most likely going to be a farmer, or if you came from a family of coal miners, you were very likely going to be a coal miner. So things are a little bit different now, and that's definitely a good thing. But despite that, for every young entrepreneur that we meet several more who are young aspiring entrepreneurs, where you could kind of see it in their eyes. They've got that spark, they've got that desire. It's theirs, that glow, but they're paralyzed. They're paralyzed by fear, paralyzed by their insecurities, by doubt, fear of failure, fear of even attempting and falling flat on their face. Pretty much the same fear that I myself had, the fear that several of my team members and every entrepreneur faces. So the question became, what can S.T.A.R.C.H do about that to help these young entrepreneurs, aspiring entrepreneurs? The immediate answer is not much. But we figured, why don't we round up a few young entrepreneurs who are out there, who are doing it, who definitely don't have all of the right answers, but who bring them on here to speak of their philosophies, their struggles, and ultimately of their triumphs. And hopefully that would alleviate some of the fear and some of the doubt that so many people, are paralyzed by. We figured that'd be a good place to start.
My name is Ronnie Bias. I'm the owner-operator of Bushwick Mattress Builders.
My name is Taylor Alexis Gillard, and I run an open-ended lifestyle blog, and it's called The Tailored World.
Okay, so what is your business about, besides the obvious?
Primarily, we make custom mattresses for people that walk in, or people that know about us, or businesses that just find us, or we find them.
Okay, and how long has your business been active? When did it start?
The business has been active for around 25 years, but my family has bought into it about a little bit more than a decade ago.
Basically, it's a blog that follows my journey in my 20s, just, trying to figure out life. And I talk about the things that matter on there. I picked up feminism along the way, anything music related, and any artsy thing I could find, I'll talk about on there.
Since my father is retired and he was running the business before, I've inherited it and I run it and operate it now and do just about everything for it with the help of people that work with me.
You now own a business that you've inherited. Are there any misconceptions, stigmas associated with that? Why don't you tell us a bit about that?
First one that I get all the time, people think that I'm wealthy. I'm like, no, not every business is $1 million business. Yes, we make money to survive and pay employees and do the things that we want to do, but it doesn't automatically mean that you're wealthy. And I struggle with that even with family, friends. They think that I can just do anything. I can pay for this, I can pay for that. When it's like, no, And plus, I work like 10 hours a day, 10, 12 hours a day. So I'm not going to just give it away.
I had read from one of the articles on Tailored World, about a rather dangerous and profound experience of yours. Why don't you tell us about that?
Okay. It was December 26th in 2009, the day after Christmas. I was behind doing my hair, because I always try to go to the shop. And I decided to go into the salon and get my hair done. So my hairdresser was working as fast as she can to get everyone out because it was getting late. And I was her last customer. So a guy came to the door and he kind of just looked in, but and then he walked away, so we thought nothing of it. And then he came back, and at this time the door was locked because I was the last customer. So he came back and he asked my hairdresser, "Oh, do you know how to braid a little girl's hair?" she said no, that's not what she specializes in. Then maybe 2 minutes later, there was a loud boom, and in he came in with a rifle, and he stuck it to my face, and he told me, give me everything that you got, or I'm gonna fucking kill you right here. So I tried to plead with him and reason, and he just wasn't having it. So my hairdresser, she tried to call the cops because she didn't speak that much English, and he went after her. Luckily, she snuck out the door. He went outside to look for her, and he fired 3 shots, and then he just ran away.
I'm aware that you have a master's degree, urban planning, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
But you've decided to forego its use and continue the family business. Now, you spoke a little bit about feeling obligated, but you've completely foregone the use of your degree, so.
When I got the degree, I primarily wanted to use it in third world countries. So eventually I want to make enough money to go to third world countries and do planning work. Yes, I need experience here, but I feel that at least for now, it works for me to at least save some money, and hopefully I can do some projects overseas, primarily in Haiti where my parents are from. So that's my thinking behind it. Also, there's a lot of people I've gone to school with that don't have jobs. And it's not easy to just get a job, even if you have a master's degree. America is not the same America that it was.
Is college no longer the answer? Is that what you're alluding to?
It's complicated because it depends on who you are. I would not say if I could do it again that I wouldn't go to college. I would. Would I go and get a master's degree? Maybe. But going back, I would go to college because you learn so many things. You learn how to learn on another level. So I appreciate college for that. It's a social group. That's where you form your professional social group and you help each other.
But it is no longer the cut and paste answer that it was, say, 50 years ago.
Absolutely not. Depending on when I went to business school, I know a lot of folks that went into finance and now they're investment bankers already, and they're like 25 making $100,000, $200,000. So for some people, it works out. Majority of people, it's not the yellow brick road that, when you're 5, they try to sell you that you have to go to college, you have to do it, you're gonna do this, you're gonna be great once you go to college, everything's gonna be easy once you go to college. No. At least in my opinion, no, it doesn't work like that. But I've seen it work for people.
It's easier and safer on paper, but I think something inside me would probably die slowly, day by day, if I didn't have Tailored World. I think it's basically helping me to figure out my purpose in life, and once I have that, I can also share with others so they can figure out theirs too. And for me, that's very fulfilling. Even after this entire experience, I went and got a tattoo that symbolizes rebirth. It's an eye with the hand crawling out, and it just shows the world that, hey, I don't look at the world the same anymore since this. I mean, I almost lost my life. I feel like I can complain less and do more and just have an actual purpose in life. And I thank God every day for that, because it could have ended in 2009.
To the young aspiring person watching this right now, what should they do? Should they, do you have any advice?
First, it depends on the business. I feel as if it's a larger business, your parents or whoever you inherited from may be able to hire a manager and you just oversee it. But if it's a smaller business, you may want to depending on your relationship with your folks. You know, I have a great admiration for my parents, so I would feel guilty just to shun the bit. I don't want any parts of it, or do things like that. But if you don't have that relationship with your parents, then you know it's different. You forge your own path, and that's fine. There's no right or wrong in this. You got to do what's in your heart. Because sometimes, you know, when I first inherited this business, I was a little miserable the first couple of days because I was like, oh man, this is not what I want to do, this, that. But then I started to see it as a gateway to do what I want to do. Once I started seeing it that way, you know, the flower started to bloom, and I've been able to grow the business. So it all depends on your perspective.
So you've got work, you've got a social life, you've obviously got a business, tailored world, you have a relationship, you have family, you have this and you have that. So in your own words, how is an aspiring entrepreneur, you know, a young adult who wants to start a business, how are they supposed to manage all of these things? What's the key to that, in your opinion?
I think the key to that is understanding that there has to be a balance in life. So once you have that understanding, you can kind of just organize everything and set like a schedule. I mean, with red wine and my planner, I can do a lot.
Okay.
When I was a junior in college, my father owned a business and I was taking 5 classes. He was running it, and then he developed cancer. So he developed cancer, and it was for me, because he was taking treatments and you know, going to the doctor, that I had to step up and run the business and take, you know, 5 finance courses. At the time, you know, I thought I was ready, you know, I said, you know, I'm just gonna do it, blah blah blah. But in time, I realized how hard it was, and I ended up dropping like 4 of the classes, staying in 1, getting like a D in it, and really not doing well, which probably was a really low point in my life. You know, I called my dad, man, I'm quitting school, blah, blah, blah. But I got it together. And the next semester, my dad was still taking treatments. And I decided, you know what, I'm gonna take 5 classes again, and I'm gonna run a business. And I ended up with like 3 A's and 2 B's. You just kind of man up and do it. When you're tired, take a 5-hour energy, you know? Just do it. You just have to. Doing this business, having a social life, other projects, you just man up or woman up, and you just get it done because that's what you want to do. That's what you set your mind to do. And at the end of the day, if you do it or you don't do it, it's all on you.
Hi, my name is Diamond Craig, and I am the founder and president of Purposefully Pretty.
My name is Joel Bocourt, aka Grizzly. I'm the founder of A Rebel-Minded Society, the executive producer of the web series S.T.A.R.C.H.
What is your business about?
Purposefully Pretty is a nonprofit organization meant to outreach, teach, and inspire young women between the ages of 11 and 18 in Jamaica, Queens, to pursue their purpose.
Okay. And when did it launch? How long has it been active?
Well, it began as a blog. Purposefully Pretty has a blog site, and that launched in August 2012, but the actual organization launched in November 2012.
A Rebel-Minded Society is about creating an outlet for individuals to express themselves creatively through music, film, fashion, art, comedy, and more.
Okay, when did it launch?
Well, it launched officially in 2013, but I've been working at it for 23 years.
Your whole life, pretty much.
Well, our organization has a quote that we normally use: a pretty face with nothing to back it up is null and void. That quote has been the framework for the organization. I found that a lot of the young women in my community, their values are misconstrued. They align being pretty with the clothes that they wear, their weave, their shoes, and a lot of other materialistic things. In my opinion, to be pretty is to have identified your purpose and to pursue your purpose. I believe that every person in the world has a God-given purpose, and once you have found that purpose, not only is it fulfilling to you, but it's fulfilling to so many people around you.
Well, A Rebel-Minded Society is a product of the things I experienced growing up. I grew up in an environment where creativity was thriving, but there was a lack of resources and opportunities. Growing up in the hood, you have to deal with the stigma that's placed on you because of your gender, your race, your financial limitations, and your upbringings. The principle behind ARMS is to provide a opportunity for those people to express themselves creatively without any limitations.
What values are you trying to instill in these girls?
Pretty much we're trying to deter the young women that are a part of the organization from the stigma that society has placed on our young women, especially young black women. A lot of people, even like when you look into the media, reality TV, music videos, songs, they paint us as objects. They glorify our bodies, the way we look, the clothes that we have, the bags that we have, but no one ever acknowledges the intelligence that we have and what we have to offer other than our physical appearance and our bodies and things like that. So we're just trying to instill in the girls that they're more than what society deems that they are.
Where are you from, Joel?
Well, I currently live in Queens, but I grew up in different parts of New York. My parents worked a lot, so I spent a lot of my childhood in Brooklyn at my grandmother's house and in Harlem at my aunt's house.
Tell me a little bit about these places. You said you grew up in Brooklyn, Harlem, you're in Queens now. Tell me a little bit about the things you experienced.
Growing up in the hood, I witnessed firsthand how the lack of resources and opportunities can affect the community. People such as myself wind up getting in trouble because we didn't have no way to express ourselves creatively. It's easy to get misguided when you don't have no outlet or things to get away from these type of things that's going on in the environment. At some point, I came to the realization that in order to break free from what's going on around you, that you have to reach beyond that, and instead of waiting for an opportunity to come forward, that you have to create one yourself.
Well, we're fighting against society. We're fighting against the stigmas that society has put on women, especially black women. We're fighting against the glorification of showing your body or being a video girl or even a stripper. Now strippers are becoming famous more than a doctor or lawyer, or someone who has a purpose of substance. I was a African American studies minor, and honestly, being in those different classes that I took really opened my mind to where we as black women come from. We come from such a lineage of strong women who made a difference in communities in the world. And it was glorified, it was respected then, but now we have women that still do those things, but it's not respected as it once was. And we have this upcoming generation that are torn, in my opinion, to become something of substance or to submit to what society is telling you is success.
So transitioning from the hood and the street realm and of the rules that apply there, transitioning from that to the professional realm and the different set of rules that apply to that, have you encountered difficulties in transitioning from one realm to the next?
One difficulty I face is the negative perception that people have on you because of where you come from. I often deal with people getting the wrong impression of me because of my appearance. I have braids, I wear baggy pants, sneakers often, so people may not feel that I know how to conduct myself in a professional manner.
Do you feel your race has anything to do with that?
At times, yes. A lot more than less. The second difficulty I faced is communication. In my past experience, I learned that you can't always be aggressive and direct in certain situations. That your body language and your tone and even the vocabulary is important in the professional world as opposed to in the streets where it's really just about strength and just being straightforward.
To be honest with you, I'm not too sure. Purposefully Pretty was honestly a leap of faith for me. And at times I even question myself. Sometimes I wonder, are the events and workshops, are the messages getting through to the girls? Are they being impacted by what we do for them? Or is society sticking to them? The things that society deems as sexy, as beautiful, is that sticking to them more than what we promote to them? So like I said, I'm not too sure, but honestly, if I have one girl who makes a difference in our community or in any community because of the things that she learned from Purposefully Pretty, or the things that she was inspired to do because of the Purposefully Pretty volunteers and members, then I feel like my job is done.
How do you go about overcoming these difficulties?
By not allowing perception to affect reality. I embrace my style, which is what a rebel's about. Focus on proving the masses wrong and showing them that we have more to offer than what they may believe we do. I overcome the second difficulty of communication by doing my homework on whoever I'm dealing with, whether it's a company representative or a new client. Whatever information I can find on them, whether it's what they're doing, what they're about, and what they have going on at the moment. Use the information to help me tailor how I deal with them and talk with them.
In your own words, how do you manage it all? How does a young aspiring entrepreneur go about managing all of these things?
Well, I honestly feel that when you really want something bad enough, you'll just make it work. I myself, I'm really organized, so that kind of helps a little bit, but like, I can't imagine life without my family. I can't imagine life without what I feel my purpose is, which is medicine. There's nothing I want more in this world than to be a doctor. I can't imagine life without Purposefully Pretty. It's my outlet. So because these are three things that are so important to me, it's not hard to make it all work. And my social life is just the icing on the cake. Yeah, that's it.
So you gotta want it bad enough.
You gotta want it. You work hard for whatever you want. You make time for whatever you want. You just make it work.
I'm sure you're not blind to the fact that you're up against multi-million-dollar multimedia production companies. So the question is, how do you compete in that arena? Is it even possible for you to compete with companies like that?
ARMS competes by remaining true to self and doing what we believe in, whether it's going against the grain. We don't focus so much on the multi-million-dollar companies, what they got going on, what they're doing. We focus on the people who they don't focus on, who they neglect to pay attention to, the rebels, the misunderstood, the outcasts, those who don't get the opportunity to express themselves creatively.
So what is to stop ARMS, Rebel Minded Society, from one day becoming one of these multi-million-dollar media production companies? How will you stay true to your values?
The goal is to become that, because definitely trying to take this to that level. However, in order to stay true to the people, you have to be connected with the people. You can't forget about the goal, and the goal is to reach out to those people of the community, people from the hood, people from the streets, the rebels, the outcasts, the misunderstood. And I feel that as long as we stay true to that and we stand behind that, then we wouldn't have no problem whether we're a no dollar company or a multi-million-dollar company.
So there's a figure in Greek mythology called Prometheus. Prometheus was a titan who was overly empathetic towards humanity, gifted humanity with the gift of fire, through which we were able to create tools and cook and do all sorts of fancy stuff. His master Zeus did not appreciate that, and Prometheus was severely punished for this, but later rescued by Hercules, actually. Point is, the word Promethean is derived from the likeness of this figure, and it essentially means to be daringly original, boldly inventive or creative, dauntless in the face of persecution or adversity. None of the guests on this episode have invented things that you've never heard of. Absolutely not. Even this show itself may not be particularly new and unique, and they definitely don't have all the answers as you saw it, but each and every one of them is Promethean in spirit. So if I have any advice for the aspiring entrepreneur, young or old, is that if you begin with a Promethean creed, that is to say, you have a desire to enhance the lives of those around you, your nation, or even all of humanity, it doesn't matter that you don't have all of the answers. The answers will reveal themselves to you in time, and the universe will open up. And that's really all there is to it.